Hey, thank you for joining me today. Today I'm going to show you some of the pickups from the Twin Cities Sports Collectors Club show in Bloomington, Minnesota. It's a big suburb of Minneapolis and St. Paul, or the Twin Cities in general. There's a pretty good crowd there. I found a few unique items, and it was a pretty good crowd. I didn't see any other YouTube content creators there this time. Saw them at the show last weekend. I saw a few, and they had some pretty good dealers there. Some guys I hadn't seen for a while. I was able to pick up my PSA order. I'll show that to you in a different video, but got a pretty unique set that I want to show you at least a few cards from, and then some other interesting items that I picked up. So I'll turn the camera around and we'll take a look at these items. First item I'll show you is a 1978 Halsey Hall Recalls set. And this set consists of cards from players that have played for the Minneapolis Millers and the St. Paul Saints of the American Association. There's been some fairly famous athletes that have played for these teams in Minnesota on their way up to the parent clubs and the Baseball Hall of Fame. They all didn't make it to professional baseball. The first one that I'll talk about, he never made it to Major League Baseball. He played in the Negro Leagues, and then he came on and played with the Minneapolis Millers. Halsey Hall believed he was an all-time third baseman, that he'd rank him right there with Brooks Robinson or Pie Traynor. He always threw a man out by a step and a half, and he didn't care how fast the man was, or if the guy was so slow that he looked like he was pushing a safe to first base. Dandy would manage to stall and throw him out by a step and a half. One time there was a play-by-play guy covering the Saints, and he was raving about Dandridge's arms. Someone hit a ball down there, and Dandridge lobbed it over, and the guy would always call him the Great Dandridge. And sure enough, the guy comes up, bunts, and zip, the guy's out. You guessed it, by a step and a half. And that guy is Ray Dandridge, Baseball Hall of Famer, former Minneapolis Miller. The next guy we have is another Hall of Famer, played for the St. Paul Saints, 1948, Branch Rickey. That'll give you a hint on who that is. Said that he was the best catcher on the Dodgers, but they're sending him down to St. Paul. And people thought that he looked overweight, and but Rickey said, if you're going to catch 300 games a year, including 4 games in one day, which he did in his days in the Negro Leagues, a great catcher, a tremendous hitter. The Dodgers catcher, Bruce Edwards, eventually got injured, and they recalled Campy to the parent club, Brooklyn Dodgers, and that's Roy Campanella. Next guy up, very famous Hall of Famer. When he's playing at Nicollet Park, home of the Minneapolis Millers, they thought he could hit 80 home runs there. He only ended up with 43, and that was in 1938. He led the league in homers, hitting, RBIs, runs scored, total bases, walks. Not a bad year for a 20-year-old kid. And two of them were inside the park home runs that year in Louisville. And that wasn't done again until Richie Allen of the White Sox did it against the Twins in later years. The manager, well, this player was temperamental. The manager went to Mike Kelly, the general manager, president, owner, whatever, and said, "This kid's got to go." The general manager told Coach Donnie Bush that he was going to miss him. So that was the end of that. He was a natural hitter, born in San Diego, California. Went on to get a couple of triple crowns, and one of the greatest hitters ever in Major League Baseball, Ted Williams. The next guy might have broken every record in the history of the American Association, but he only played 38 games. He was hitting .477, and the manager of the Major League team called him on the phone. He says he wants him to come up and play for the Giants. And he replied, "I don't want to, Mr. D." And the manager asked him, "Well, what are you hitting?" He said, .474. There's a dead silence for about 15 seconds. Now that is a heck of a long silence when you're on the phone. Leo then roars, "Get your blankety blank on the first plane to New York." So he went up, and the rest is history. And another great, all-time great, Willie Mays, played a few games with the Minneapolis Millers. Next group of cards I picked up, I managed to pick up 3 of them. They're all a little bit different from each other. 2 of them are the same year. The green one on the right is 1960, and that's the O-Pee-Chee version. It says "Made in Canada" on it. There's also a green version for the U.S. that says "Tops from Brooklyn, New York." And the 2 on the right are 1964 Tops tattoos. And I thought it was pretty cool that I could find at least 3 different versions. This one is Jim Gilliam, the O-Pee-Chee from 1960. The yellow one from 1964 is Frank Howard, and that doesn't look like it's ever been folded. And the middle one, Carl Yastrzemski, it's been folded, and it's been folded again, it looks like. But there's like 3 different colors for the 64s. I have the yellow and the blue, and there's also a red version. I thought that was pretty fun pickup. Plus I got 1 Hall of Famer. And the final 2 cards I picked up at the club show. 1968 Bazooka, Hank Aaron. These are tall, skinny cards. They were on the side panel of the box. And they're not as easy to find as the other flavors of Bazooka cards. 1968. They also had fielding tips and a few other things on the box with a bigger picture of a different player. There's generally 4 individual players, 2 on each side, and then the tip on the back. And the final item I picked up at the club show was the 1963 sticker, Roberto Clemente. And this is the version with the instructions on the back. I hope you enjoyed the video. I just thought I'd share my pickups from the show in that Halsey Hall Recall set. It used to be around a lot. I haven't had one for a long time, so I thought I'd pick it up, and I really never noticed how cool the writings are on that set, the write-ups. And the artist was Harley Davidson. Don't know if he's related to the motorcycle Harley Davidson family or not, but some pretty good artwork in that set. It's from 1978, and I'd like to thank everybody for watching, and see you next time around.